And there you have it. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is officially off for about the third, fourth, maybe even the fifth time. Came from Eddie Hearn in an interview that he done on Matchroom Boxing YouTube channel. I'm just disappointed. Before we get into it, subscribe, like the video, do all the amazing stuff. In terms of where this fight crumbled or where the negotiations fell through, for me, was all based on timing. It wasn't to do with the money, to my understanding, on both sides. I've not heard any of them say, listen, AJ is asking for too much, or AJ, you know, there's a sticking point in terms of the money. It wasn't necessarily down to the finances. It was down to the time frame in getting this deal or getting the contract signed, sealed and delivered. Now, in terms of that's the biggest, that was the main sticking point. Whose responsibility was it to set a reasonable time frame to negotiate a fight, schedule a date for the fight that's, you know, that's doable or that's acceptable for both parties to be at their peak condition in, and to do all of the media training and not media training but media workouts and media obligations in that period of time? Whose onus was it? For me, that was on Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury specifically, and him and his team, would have known in their head how long estimated time that it would take to negotiate a fight of this magnitude. Okay, they didn't manage that time or that expectation at all, which is why a lot of the problems came about afterwards. To negotiate a fight of this magnitude, and they should, of all people, should know this, because the last time, which was about what, early last year, the date that they entered contact to the date it was agreed, to my understanding, was about 4 or 5 months. This took, after 3 weeks, they were threatening to pull the plug on this fight. After literally 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, they were arguing to pull the plug on this fight. AJ agreed to split deal. AJ agreed to the reverse split, so if it's a 2-fight deal, the rematch clause split. They agreed the date, they agreed the venue, they agreed all of those things. They agreed to it completely. VAR testing, most of the terms were agreed. It was literally dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and of course with AJ and all of his media obligations, it would take a little bit longer than majority of other fighters. But had they waited an extra 2 weeks, that fight would have gone ahead. Now, why couldn't they wait 2 weeks? It's simply because the date that they scheduled, that they gave to begin with, for December the 3rd, and the time frame for when that contract was agreed and when that fight would take place, is too short of a turnaround to do that fight in terms of the training regime, the promotion of that fight. It would have been too short of a period of time to do it. Now, what they could have done, if they really wanted a fight, is set a reasonable date for the fight to take place to begin with. Even though AJ agreed on it, that was an unrealistic date. That date should have been end of December, early January. Okay, it is disappointing. Fury is looking to fight probably Derek Chisora, Manuel Charr. Eddie Hearn's looking to put AJ in the ring with the likes of Zhilei Zhang, or the likes of I don't know, Hrgovic, a Jaguar in Africa, or in Nigeria specifically. I'm happy with the fights that that Eddie Hearn will put in front of AJ, because the names that he flaunted, I agree with those names specifically. On Tyson Fury, aka the greatest fighter of this generation, he's got to fight the next best option of this generation, which is Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is literally the next best of this generation that's available, that's open to fight, and that can fit in that time slot. So wait to see what happens next. But until next time, peace, love and prosperity, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Peace.